point, if we assume that, and I subtract that 20 points from 102.5, that puts us down here at like 82.5. Well, 82.5 is below 87.60, the termination point of wave A. Actually, the termination point of wave A circled the origin of wave A in parenthesis, and we know that wave B, this wave B in parenthesis, cannot go past the origination point of wave A, just as we had discussed at the higher degree. So that would not work, that relationship, again assuming that this entire wave B only goes up to 102.5. But if I look at the relationship of the wave C equaling 0.618, the length of wave A, that comes out to 7.6 points. And if I subtract that from 102.5, which is our ultimate objective for wave C, I get an estimate for the termination point of wave B of 94.90, which is right up in here. It's right just above the low. That low was at, the low over here was at 95.98. So 94.90 is 1 point below that. So that doesn't give us much room. I mean, that could be true. And maybe that is the case, but that does not seem, considering our view, that does not seem like a viable target for this wave B. Now, we could also consider the guideline that this wave C will terminate beyond wave A at an amount equal to 0.618, the length of wave A, which is 7.6 points, and if I add that on to the termination point of wave A, I come up with a level of 107.5. Now 107.5 is 5 points beyond our target for this wave B. Again, it's still a possibility. It's still below 111.5, so it's something to keep in mind, but it's still pretty far away from our ultimate objective for all of wave B. Let's now look at, well, what if wave C equals wave A? Wave A is 12.33 points. If I subtract that from 102.5, that brings us down here to a level of 90.17. So that could be a possible target for wave B somewhere in the 90 area. And what we would like to do now is put in our Fibonacci retracement table and see where that stands in terms of that 90 level for wave B. So let's put that table in. I've drawn in the Fibonacci retracement table, and we have some interesting information here. If we look here at the 0.786 retracement area, right in here, we see that the 79% comes in at 90.24. And if this C is going to equal A at 12.33, then and C terminate at 102.5, we said that that would come down to 90.17. So those are pretty close. That gives us a couple of estimates for the termination point of this wave B. So what we will do, based on all of this information then, is we will be looking for a target of we'll round it to an even 90. We'll target for 90 for this wave B, and that will give us a potential risk then of 3 points, because our stop is at 100, and potential reward of 7 points, because we are short at 97. Let's look at one. We'll look at one more thing before we move forward, just to make sure, and that is we're going to look at the wave structure of just the last several days to see what that looks like, to see if we're really on track in terms of this objective and this position. So what we'll do is we're going to go back to the hourly chart and see what that looks like. Here is the hourly chart, and we see here is wave A in parenthesis, ended here, the 5 waves up within wave B. And just if you're interested, the names of these various degrees, I should just mention this wave A in parenthesis is a minuet degree, and within wave A these waves numbered 1 through 5, that is a sub-minuet degree, and the wave B in blue circled, you don't see that here on this chart, that is a minute degree. So we are now looking to trade this B wave to the downside, and here's the structure so far. If we look at wave B in parenthesis in the hourly chart, there's a number of possibilities here. We could have, for example, maybe this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, maybe we're in 3 coming down, or maybe this is A, B, C, and that's part of a combination. Maybe that's W, X, and then maybe we have Y coming down. I see, though, one thing that's clear, I see a 5-wave structure. I'm tracing it out here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 waves down. That could be the start of another impulse wave down. Not as clear as the beginning of that B wave that we saw. In other words, this A over here of the B wave at higher degree. So let's see what happens. We're going to go back to the daily chart, but we're going to keep in the back of our mind that this picture is not as clear as we would like it to be, and we'll see what unfolds. Okay, we're going to move forward and see now if we can get this B wave to the downside. So let's see what happens. Looks like we're coming down. Okay. Alright, we've made a big move to the upside here, and let's just see where we are on that. That we did go over 100. The high there is 100.07. And so we've been stopped out. We have gone back above 99.93. We've been stopped out at 100, and we have suffered a loss of 3 points. So now we need to analyze where are we in the wave count, and what did we do wrong, if anything. Okay, here's where we stand at the moment. Wave B apparently has terminated here, and we are now square. And one thing I notice here, this is a very shallow retracement of this wave A, and why don't we measure it? Let me put that the Fibonacci table up just to see how far down we did come on this. Okay, we see that wave B over here did not even make a 382 retracement. It didn't even go down to the 382 level. It fell shy of this, so that is shallow, and those things happen. It doesn't have to do a 0.382 or 0.5, 0.618, and certainly it did not have to do a 786 retracement down here, which is what we were expecting. So let's also just before we go forward, let's look at the hourly chart and see how that looks. See what the in retrospect then what kind of structure we had for wave B. It looks like wave B traced out either a zigzag, in other words, we have an A wave down to here, followed by a flat for wave B, and then a 5-wave C wave that just was not did not make a deep retracement of that wave A. And possible that there was a combination going on. An alternate count might be ABC with an X wave and then another ABC. We'd have to go look at lower degrees to try to make out the waves in the last move down. So let's go now back to the daily chart, and we're going to now look at the price action after this point. It appears that we're starting to make an impulse wave to the upside. If you look at this structure in here, we may have a 1, 2, 3, possibly a 4 to the upside as part of wave C. Maybe it's wave 1 of wave C. And so let's go back to the daily chart. That concludes the end of part 2. Let's now move on to part 3, the final part of this lesson.